Phra Somdej นอกวัด various Somdej from temples around the country and different masters. พระสมเด็จผงกระดูกผีพิมพ์พระประจำวันหลวงพ่อพุ่มวัดโคกสวัย An extremely rare ancient amulet using bone powders of various skeletal remains of people who died wealthily and had the name various names which are considered to be auspicious, such as Tong Kam and Ngan and Nak, Kong Yu, and the like, which would mean gold and silver, and bronze, or Kong Yu means to live long and safely and wealth. And here we have a classic Phra Somdej early era from Luang Pu Hin of Wat Rakhang Khositaram, released in 2495 BE. Luang Pu Hin was a Khmer monk who travelled on Tudong to Wat Rakhang and was a devotee of Somdej To. Therefore, he travelled to stay at Wat Rakhang and asked Luang Pu Nak, who was abbot at the time, to stay, who then asked him to assist in developing the temple. Luang Pu Hin collected many Somdej of Somdej Praputtajanto from Rangsi, Wat Rakhang, and used them to make his own amulets with. And here we have an absolutely beautiful example of the Phra Somdej Pimwat Gechayo of Luang Po Liam of Wat Si Ruang Bun. And this is a very classic amulet indeed, one of my favorite masters for his sacred powders and the design and look of his amulets and their sacred blessings. From Luang Po Liam or Luang Ta Liam of Wat Si Ruang Bun. I estimate this to be about 2475. He passed in 2485 BE. And so most of his Somdej of the final era were made from 2470 to 2480 BE. And here we have the Phra Somdej Phra Pairi Pinat with gold leaf, the Betsit Pansa 80 years edition of Phra Sankarat, the Sankaraja royal head monk of the Thai Sangha, released in 2536 BE. At the temple of the Sankaraja of Wat Bawara Niwet in Bangkok. You can see the classic yant unalom with the letters Yososo underneath on the top of the rear face, which is the classic signature stamp of the Sankarat royal monk. And here we have a beautiful exhibit of the Phra Somdej Sam Chan or Pim Phra Patan of Luang Po Ki of Wat Hu Chang. He released this amulet by taking it with him when he was invited to assist in the blessing with 244 other monks at the Great Wat Prasad Punyawat blessing ceremony in Bangkok in 2506 BE, making this a very sacred amulet indeed. Many monks assisted in that blessing ceremony to raise funds for the rebuilding of the Uposatha temple, the Phra Uposat, which had been destroyed in a fire previously. Many Sian Phra amulet students and pundits like to call this the Phra Somdej Lang Yan Ma'au, but I wouldn't actually call it that because on the rear face it is not the Yan Ma'au. It is just an unalom with the letters Ma'au, and so it is not really the name of the yant. And here we have also a beautiful exhibit of the Phra Somdej Luang Pu Pun Rod of Wat Wang Nam Kiao in Wan Gesorn, sacred pollens. In the Puttapisek or Buddha Abhiseka blessing ceremony of this amulet, the amulet was also blessed with the presence of the great Luang Por Ngan of Wat Don Nhai Hom in Nakhon Pathom. Luang Por Ngan was one of the great masters of his time and extremely famous for his monk coins and especially for his Pratputta Chinarat amulets, Takrut, and other kinds of amulets. And his extra blessing on this Phra Somdej makes it a highly preferred amulet of both masters. And here we have a very beautiful amulet indeed, unusual in color and in pattern. The Phra Somdej Lai Sura, tiger pattern Buddha image. This Phra Somdej was blessed with Luang Pu Noi at Wat Chao Am and a host of great masters, some of which are documented commonly and some of which are lesser documented. Some of the masters included in the list were Luang Pu Tok, Luang Por Thong Yo, and Luang Por Mui. Also, Luang Por Seng, Luang Por Thiam of Wat Pot, Luang Por Doon or Luang Por Toon of Wat Po Nimit, and I believe also I have seen documented the great Luang Por Pen of Wat Bang Phra. A host of other masters were also present to bless this edition, and I can't remember the names of all of them, but there is a documentation of a great number of masters present and various amulets from various temples and makers were also entered into this blessing ceremony in the same Puttapisek ritual. And here we have the Phra Somdej, Prat Patan of Luang Por Wong of Wat Makham. This particular pim is in Nua Pongge Son Ge Naman, oily herbal pollens, and is Sot Takrut Ku, which means it has 2 Takrut scroll spells made out of sacred metal, inscribed by hand, rolled up and inserted into the base of the amulet. Very beautiful amulet indeed. And on the rear face it has the yant Put, and I would also call it Put Son because it has the letter Put and spiraling around it in concentric circles. So Son, Put Son means, not Put Son means put with concentric circles. The yant is also surrounded by 4 sacred akara. And here we have a very beautiful exhibit indeed, the Phra Somdej Sai Rung, rainbow powder amulet, bit tong with gold leaf blessing, pasted on the image of the Buddha from Chao Kun No of Wat Silakhan, who was known as a great renunciant monk who ignored his own sufferings and worked diligently for Buddhism and his devotees throughout his life. On the rear face you see the sacred Yant Nam Tao. His trajectory throughout his life as a bhikkhu. So on the rear face you see the sacred Yant Nam Tao or Yant Ong Phra Buddha Yantra. This sacred amulet is a highly preferred and rare amulet and was released with Chao Kun No performing the blessings in 2513 BE. And here we see a beautiful, extremely white Pong Puttakun exhibit of the Phra Somdej Kang Chat from 2512 BE, released at Wat Chino Road, famous edition, blessed by the great Luang Por Kuai of Wat Ko Sitaram and classed within his pantheon of amulets. This amulet was also blessed by many other masters, including the great Luang Pu Tok of Wat Pradu Chimpli, Phra Ajahn Nam and Luang Po Hom of Wat Sak Mak, and the great Luang Po Prom of Wat Chong Khair. And here we have a pristine and perfect exhibit of the Phra Somdej Brok Po Sao Ha 5th Lunar Saturday Edition amulet, also known as Somdej Brok Po Lang Sua with tiger on rear face, or Lang Na Sua, tiger face on the rear, from the great Luang Po Pen of Wat Bang Phra in Nakhon Pathom, Sakyant master of all masters of the present era, R.I.P. This was released in the year 2536 BE after a Sauha blessing ceremony, and then also released, of course, during the Waikru ceremony of Sakyant to the Lersi and to Luang Po Pen. And here we have the Phra Somdej Hu Bai Si Pim Yai or Pim Jumbo, large model amulet of Luang Po Lamun or Phra Kru Lamun of Wat Sadet. This amulet was not blessed at Wat Sadet only for Luang Po Lamun, but also at the temple of Wat Prasi Ratana Mahathat in Pitsanulok, which is the temple of Phra Phutta Chinarat Buddha, and was blessed by a host of great other masters called from around the country to assist in the Buddha Abhiseka blessing ceremony. A very sacred amulet indeed, very rare and highly preferred. And here we have also a very pristine and beautiful version of the Phra Somdej Sam Shan Hu Bai Si of Luang Po Bai of Wat Chong Lom, blessed and released in the year 2516 BE. Very beautiful amulet indeed. Hu Bai Si means the long curved ears, the curvature of the ears and the round matchstick head of the Buddha, and the Rup Muan, it's called a Somdej Lang Rup Muan because it has the image of the monk on the rear side of the amulet. The Akara in Khom on the rear face has the syllables Putta Sangmi, and then has Pa Pi Pa Pa, and at the bottom Tammachoto, which is the Chaya monk name of this master. Considering my YouTube channel only makes $6 a month in the moment, I could do with a few more subscribes and likes if you want me to keep continuing with this kind of content.